to debunk this right now. It's about progress. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I want you to think of your biggest goal that you wanted to accomplish this year, all the way back from the beginning of the year, and keep that in your mind throughout the entire video today. Now that we're halfway through the year, it's a great time to recheck in with ourselves with all of our goals and our intentions that we set in the beginning, and try to see if we can accomplish them in the last half of 2024, or whenever you might be watching this. Because what are we talking about today? Consistency, which is the key to helping you achieve all of your goals. And I'll tell you why. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you why consistency matters, what consistency really is, and how we can be consistent with all of our little habits and actions so we can accomplish our goals and be our best selves together. So if you are ready to truly level up and get back into the swing of things for the end of summer and for the end of 2024, keep watching. Before we begin, I have put all of the timestamps with all of the sections in the description below, so if you want to skip to a specific section, feel free to do so. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this in the future, leave a like and subscribe below. Without any further ado, let's get started with what consistency even is. So as we usually start these videos, I have my iPad here with the definition of consistency. So according to the Oxford Dictionary, consistency means conformity in the application of something, or the achievement of a level of performance that does not vary greatly in quality over time. Now, to me, that describes perfectly what consistency really is. Essentially, consistency is just showing up for something repeatedly and never giving up no matter what. You don't have to do something every single day for like an hour every single day to be consistent with it. You just have to do it regularly on a schedule that works for you. In this way, we can think of staying consistent as staying in a routine, which is basically a set schedule that you follow that works for you, that helps you accomplish everything you need to do, get all your work done, and also feel good while doing it. And routines are so powerful because they allow you to be consistent without even having to think about it. So routines are so powerful for developing consistency and staying consistent with your habits. Speaking of habits, habits are also really great for consistency because they're essentially the same thing. They just allow you to do an action without you having to consciously think about it and put in a ton of effort to get started or even finish it. But the hard part is with this is setting it up, because once it becomes a habit, that's great. You can do it automatically. You don't really have to think about it. It's not that difficult. The hard part is getting the habit or the routine to start. So that's what we are going to cover today. I just want to give a quick shout out before we continue to the book Atomic Habits, which I will put a picture of right here. And that is a book that I learned a lot of these things from, especially in this section. So if you want to learn more, I highly recommend reading it, even if you're just a little bit interested, because it is so cool and inspiring and just a great book, easy read. So I totally recommend it if you want to learn more. Being consistent with a habit allows you to progress in small steps that lead towards big results, because it's not the action itself that is going to give you all the results you want and give you all the achievement you want. It's the repeated little actions you take along the way that really determine your progress and the outcome of your efforts. And this is why consistency over time is so much more beneficial and will give you so much more growth and progress instead of just maybe a week of a short little sprint of work and then you get burnt out at the end. That's what we want to avoid. We don't want to get all of our energy out in the beginning and then not continue it. That's just going to lead us down a path and we might feel a little bit regret or guilty that we're not able to finish something, or we're really just burning ourselves out and taking the wrong approach. Instead, we have to be consistent and do these little actions over time, which yes, it might seem a lot slower, but in the end, it is so much better for you, your mental health, and your growth. So let's talk about how we can actually develop these little routines and habits to help us stay consistent. So this is probably the most important piece of advice when trying to start new habits, and that is to start slow and start small. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with a whole list of like 10 habits that you want to start this week, because you're just going to try to start them all. And like I said earlier, you're just going to burn yourself out trying to do everything at once, instead of just trying to focus on one little thing and small improvements over time. So yes, we want to begin with maybe 1 to maximum 2 actions that you want to start when you are first starting to develop a new routine, or like I said, these little habits. You really want each little action to really sink into your routine and become familiar and easy before you start adding on new ones, so you don't burn yourself out and overwhelm yourself. So to sum up, start with one little action per week, and once it feels comfortable, you can add on more and really develop your routine from there. So just use small building blocks over time instead of trying to add everything at once. You'll see a lot better results that way, I promise. Small little incremental improvements mean so much more than one giant drastic change all at once. And there's actually like a mathematical rule for this. And so if you like math like me, you'll probably find this really interesting if you didn't already know. If you improve by 1%, just 1%, every single day over the course of a year, so 365 days, you'll end up 37 times better than you were when you started. Now, to me, that is just crazy because it really doesn't seem like 1% would do that much, especially in just a year, but that just goes to show you the power of these small actions and why it's so much more beneficial and sustainable long-term to do small little actions instead of one giant change all at once. So now that you have decided maybe one little habit that you want to start and just kind of get it going, what you want to do to physically start doing it is to make it very easy or very simple to do. Don't make whatever you want to do super complicated, super time consuming, way like out of your normal daily routine. No. You want to make sure it fits into your lifestyle that you have already. You kind of want to put it into your routine, into somewhere that makes sense, you have the time to do it, and it's going to be easy to do said habit. Once you integrate it into your routine, this beautiful thing called habit stacking comes in. Essentially, habit stacking is tacking on a new little action or a habit onto something that you already do that is already a habit. And this basically just turns your old habit into like almost like a reminder or a cue to do the new habit. If you pair your new habit with something you already have, it's going to be way easier to remain consistent with it because you don't have to put in that real bit of extra effort. You're not gonna have to try and go out of your way and put it in somewhere random in your day or somewhere that you might forget about it or might not have the motivation or the time to do it. And this really helps with consistency because you're making it easy and straightforward for yourself to keep doing it. I kind of already touched on this, but make sure the habit is adapted to your current lifestyle. Now, what I mean by this is you don't have to do a certain habit or action every single day to be consistent with it. Consistency does not equal perfection, which I'll touch on more later, but if you're only able to do something maybe 3 to 4 times a week, that is perfectly okay, and that is enough. So really look at your current schedule and your current lifestyle and think, okay, when can I incorporate this action? Maybe it's going to the gym. When can I go to the gym? What makes sense for me to go to the gym? Don't overload yourself with things that you can't do, because again, we're trying to avoid burnout and avoid feelings of guilt or shame for not being able to do these habits. So making them realistic from the start completely avoids that whole situation. And I use realistic very lightly here because I don't really like that word. In a way that means it fits your lifestyle and it actually fits into what you are physically able to do in a day. So what I like to do is set reminders on my phone, write it in a calendar or like a journal, just any type of habit that I want to do, which leads into habit tracking. Now, habit tracking is great because it's a way to not only remind you, but also to track your progress, which can feel really rewarding and give you that intrinsic motivation, which is just motivation coming from you and not from any other outside source. And oftentimes this sort of motivation is a lot more powerful than anything that could come externally or outside of your control. I love habit tracking because it allows me to really see my progress and also, again, motivate me to keep making that progress. You know, maybe you make a little calendar with boxes that you check off every single time you do a habit. I'm not kidding. If you've done it yourself, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, try it because it is the best thing in the world. It's like a to-do list when you just check everything or cross everything off and you just feel so like light afterwards. That is the same feeling you get when you look at a full habit tracker of all the things you've done. So motivating, so rewarding, highly recommend that. But just use any kind of tracking system you want. And also remember to celebrate those small wins. Yes, being consistent and staying consistent is the ultimate reward here because it's gonna let us accomplish our goals. but you can give yourself little rewards along the way to help keep that motivation up and also just to make you happy. So maybe set like specific goals or deadlines or milestones, and when you hit that, do something nice for yourself to remember why you started and also to help you motivate you to keep this habit going and to stay consistent with it. Because I promise, consistency is the most powerful thing you can have on your side to accomplish your goals. So now that we've covered what consistency is and how we can be consistent in our lives, I want to talk about why we should be consistent in the first place. A lot of times, people are deterred or discouraged from trying to develop these habits and be consistent with them because they're confusing consistency with perfection. I'm going to debunk this right now. Consistency is about progress, not perfection. If you're just starting out and you maybe miss a day because you forgot, don't be discouraged and don't be hard on yourself. Feeling shame or guilt for missing one of these things is probably the worst thing you can do when you're trying to be consistent with something. If you do miss a day, that doesn't mean that you lost all of your progress. That doesn't mean that you didn't make an effort trying. When you do realize you might be off track or you missed a day, just try and pick yourself back up as fast as you can and forget about anything that you missed. It's just about the present now. Nothing in the past matters. It's just, if you get back on track now and be consistent again, forgive yourself, be kind to yourself, and always, always, always just try and pick yourself back up. Slow progress is still progress, and missing a day or missing a week doesn't get rid of all of the progress and all that effort that you made before. I guarantee you will see progress when you look back, even if you're not seeing progress in the present moment. You will see growth over time, but I promise when you look back in a month, a year, maybe even a week, who knows, you'll see how much you've grown and how much you've actually accomplished. I personally used to struggle with this a lot because I do have a lot of perfectionist tendencies, and I would be so discouraged if I missed a day or I didn't do something for a day, or I told myself I would do something and the end of the day didn't come, and I'd feel all guilty and anxious. Just really bad vibes. Not what I wanted to be feeling at all. And that would keep me from doing what I actually wanted to do because I didn't think I could do it because one bad day had ruined all my progress. Not true. Not true at all. So I just want you not to make the same mistakes I did, and remember that slow progress is still progress, and one bad day doesn't get rid of all the progress you have already made. So remember, consistency is not perfection, it's about progress. So just strive to be 1% better every single day in anything you can do. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you learned something and got motivated to maybe start that habit or start that project that you've been wanting to do. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment below. And as always, if you want to see more content like this, you can subscribe in the description below as well. But thank you all so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one.